What's good, y'all? Quick message for you today. This morning, I just got done doing my cardio session, but I wanted to remind you that you need to believe in your ability to heal. I'm going to say that again. You need to believe in your ability to heal. I think a lot of times when we live our life and, we all have these bad habits and things like that we may feel like spiritually we strayed too far away from our healing. And the truth of the matter is, spiritually, no matter how bad off you may be in your life at this point, no matter how bad your addiction may be, or whatever the case may be for you, I just want to remind you that you never stray too far away from, your healing process. Spirit is always babysitting us. That's how I like to put it. Like, Spirit is always watching us. And, you have people spiritually, in the spirit realm that's always cheering you on. Don't ever think that because, you done got caught up into something so deep that you can't get up out of it, because that's not true. You know what I'm saying? I look at life in a way like, when you first started riding a bike, you know what I'm saying? When you first started riding a bike, one of the main things that you heard was, if you fall off the bike, right? If you happen to fall off that bike, you got to get up and try again. You got to get up and try again. Get up, get right back on that bike and keep pedaling. And that's how the healing journey is. It's not a perfect journey. And I think sometimes people feel like, they may be afraid to tap into it the way that they should, because they probably think it's a perfect journey, and it's not. It's not. When you started, there will be times, plenty of times, where you're faced with, reverting back to your old ways, going back to doing the things that you're trying to stop doing. And even if you do, you got to think about the first time you learn how to ride a bike. You know what I'm saying? You fall off and you just get back up and you try again. Life is not a perfect journey. Life is not a perfect journey. And the one thing about your healing process is you'll have some things in your life that, you take the time to heal from. And, it takes a small amount of time to actually complete that healing. But then there's some things about you. There's some things that you have to heal from and go about doing that may take a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? As much healing as I did with myself, and I've done a lot, there are some things that, it's taken me a little while longer. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here to let you know that it's okay. Don't think that because you're so deep into something, or feel like you're so deep into something, that, you just completely lost out here, because you're not. Spirit doesn't, judge us in that way to where it'll just turn its back on us. You feel me? You're always being watched. We're always being watched, by the spirit realm, and they cheer you on. You know what I'm saying? It don't make you a bad person, but it does consist of you understanding that you have to make certain changes within yourself. You know what I'm saying? It does, make you consider the fact that you have to own up to the fact that you have to make those changes. You have to be able to look in the mirror and understand that certain things about you ain't right. Certain things about you have to fix. Certain things about you got to work on. We all do. So don't look at yourself and criticize yourself to the point where it just, stops you in your tracks to make you feel like, you don't have the ability to heal, because we all do. That's one of the main purposes of living this life. Understanding that, we're here on a mission, individual missions. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's path, although we may experience some of the same experiences at times, our paths are still completely different. Our lessons are still completely different. And I just want you to know and want to encourage you that do not be afraid of your healing process. It's not going to be a perfect one. You might, like I said, it might be times where you go back to doing the things you said you was not going to do no more. But I just want to let you know that it does not make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be free from all those things, because you do. And I just want to encourage you that you can be. You know, you just gotta, like I said, if you fall off, you gotta get back on and keep pedaling. That's all you can do. Stop being so hard on yourself.